swag of a prize fighter. The antithesis of a firefighter. Arsonist, I'm a fire rider. Instant flame like a firelighter. So special with shows, I live out my flows. Can't walk in my shoes, can't purchase my clothes. Ice in my veins, but I never froze. Picture perfect, but I never pose. As a juvenile, I knew I bounced back. Got rated, had a plan to get my ounce back. Use cheese as bait, that's a mousetrap. Let me to the right person to pounce at. They selling dreams, I'm pulling receipts. Full force, we can't be beat. Got a dirty mouth, but the flow so neat. Keep your 2 cents, talk is cheap.
You are now tuned into the Boxing Bros. As you can see, Ned the TBE isn't here. Daylight savings time took him out. I think it's daylight saving time. He texted a group at 3 in the morning like, yo, I didn't know we lost an hour. True Dollar Bill couldn't make it because he's busy, he has a job today, so he's handling business. Salute the TBE intro Dollar Bill. You will be missed. But I'm Kaden, and I'm here with my co-host.
Was good. It's Conspiracy G in the building. We got some things to talk about. We got some things.
And you know it's about to get heated in here because we're talking about Usyk accepts a 70-30 split to fight Tyson Fury. Now, most of you probably already know how this came about, but if you don't, we're going to give you the backstory, and then we're going to discuss this in greater detail. So, all right. Well, actually, let me start by saying this. This originally started because they were going to fight in Saudi Arabia. Usyk accepted his deal in Saudi Arabia. Tyson Fury did not accept his deal, did not like his deal, felt like he wanted more money. Tyson Fury then wanted to fight in the UK. Usyk agreed to fight in the UK. Tyson Fury wanted a bigger split. Usyk wanted 50-50 split. Tyson Fury wanted a bigger split. Usyk proposed 60-40 to the winner. The winner would get 60. The loser would get 40. Tyson Fury countered with this right here, and we'll take it from here, and then we'll discuss. So this was Tyson Fury's response to Usyk wanting the winner to get 60%.
Worth 30%. Gravitate.
So this is what Tyson Fury said.
I see all this talk of boxing fights. They want 50%. Usyk's and all this. Tyson's being greedy. Where I'm standing, Usyk, you and your team are worth 30%. You either take it or you leave it. And if you don't want it, go and fight Daniel Dubois at the Copper Box and get a few $1 million. If you want to make some real money, come and fight the Gypsy King. But I will say, for every day from today that you linger, mess around, I'm going to deduct 1% from the 30%. So every day, I'm going to deduct 1% until you take it. And if you don't take it, fight Dubois for $2 million. Not a problem. But how in the world could Jews ever offer me a deal? Not possible. TikTok, pussies.
He had to throw that last little joint in there. All right. And so this was Usyk's response to Tyson Fury's video. And this set the internet on fire. This is what Usyk had to say. Hold on 1 second.
Hey, greedy belly, I accept your offer. 70-30 split to fight with you on April 29th at Wembley. But you will promise to donate to Ukraine immediately after the fight. On £1 million on every day of your deal, you will pay 1% from your poorest to Ukrainian people. Deal? Hey, greedy belly.
All right, so he said he accept the 30% with the condition that Fury pay £1 million to the Ukrainian people, and every day that he delayed accepting that offer, that counter offer from Usyk, he would have to pay an additional 1%. And so that's what Usyk had to say. Usyk recorded that entire video in English, just pointing that out there.
Barely. Greedy Betty.
Haters are gonna hate, man.
Greedy
There's nothing you can do. So here's Tyson Fury's response to that video. All right, hold on a second.
Usyk, you little shitbag. Sign the contract, get your money, and get fucked up, you little shithouse. You must have saw the size of me and shit yourself, you little gappy tooth, ugly bastard. Sign the contract.
Gappy tooth.
Usyk, you little shitbag.
All right, so that's what he had to say. And, you know, there's someone who weighs in on everything. So why wouldn't he weigh in on this? Who are we talking about? You know who we talking about. We talking about Eddie Hearn. Let's listen to what Eddie Hearn had to say about this whole entire incident.
Brilliant. I mean, Usyk's called his bluff, and now it's on Tyson Fury. No escape now. April 29th, Wembley Stadium. You know, not the money he would have wanted, but, you know, he's got his deal, 70-30, and fight's on.
Is it 70-30? I know that's what they said yesterday.
He came back and said, I accept 70-30. No excuses.
He put a little clause into it himself, though, alongside Usyk.
That's right. It's $1 million. What's $1 million out of 60 million? Brilliant. I mean, Usyk's called his.
So that's what Eddie Hearn had to say. All right, I'm turning it over to you, Conspiracy. What is your take on all this?
I mean, hey, Mr. 30 knows his worth. You know what I'm saying? And his worth is 30%. So I don't know why we upset. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just is what it is, you know? So now we get to see this fight. I'll say this, though. I'm actually happy that Tyson Fury actually accepted, because, you know, he's taking a lot of flack online about this negotiations. And me personally, you know, I've been saying this since Jump Street. I never agreed with 50-50. But to be fair, and I know I was talking trash when I was joking about 70-30 before, but honestly, I thought 60-40 was fair. So when I seen 70-30 and Usyk agreed, I said, hey, man, the dude knows his worth. He don't speak English. All he got is belts. I guess 10% for each belt. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So it just is what it is, man. Like, you know, but I will say this, man. Usyk was kind of funny with the what's it called? Jelly. What do you say? With the belly thing he said.
Greedy belly.
Greedy belly. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that was entertaining. And I was rocking with Fury until he said something about his gap. I was like, yo, watch your mouth, yo. Please love gaps, yo. You know what I'm saying? So, but other than that, man, yeah, I'm being honest. I'm not upset about the 70-30, you know. And I'll say this: if I was Usyk's manager, there's no way I'm accepting 70-30. But if I was Fury, that's what I would be going for, right? But that would be my starting offer, would be 70-30, expecting it to land at like 60-40. So the fact that he just accepted that at 30%, I'm like, yo, man, these Ukrainian guys, man, they different, man. Maybe they're not really about the money. Maybe they're really about this legacy life. But legacy don't pay bills.
All right. So first, I'm going to start off with giving you some numbers. All right. Because when this whole thing happened, I'm like, okay, I hear people making certain arguments, but I've been doing this show for 3 years. So in doing this show, right, we typically give our predictions. Sometimes we predict the pay-per-view buys. Then we do a show on the pay-per-view buys and we look in. So I'm like, all right, let me backtrack, because some of the arguments people were making to me wasn't adding up. So I want to give some numbers and then I'll give my take. But first, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, their rematch did the most numbers. So their first fight and their third fight didn't do as much as their second fight. So I'm going to take their best fight. It generated 900,000 pay-per-view buys. Of the 900,000, 300,000 were from the UK. They broke the record for the largest gate. The record was previously held by Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield in 1999. So the gate that they generated was 16,916,400 $440. So that's the gate that they generated, and that source is ESPN. For Fury's fight with Dillian White, it generated 40,000 pay-per-view buys in the United States of America. 40,000 pay-per-view buys in the United States of America. The numbers were unreleased in the UK. Frank Warren has reported that it did over 700,000 pay-per-view buys in the UK. Eddie Hearn said release the numbers because he doesn't believe that it did those numbers at all. The gate was unreleased, so we don't know how much they made from that fight. But what we know is it didn't break the record because that fight isn't the record. But they had 90,000 people in attendance. Bravo. Had 90,000 people in attendance. He didn't break the gate record, and the gate's unreleased. So for that fight, it was an 80-20 purse split. So it was an 80-20 purse split. So Fury ended up making $33,640,500 for that fight. And Dillian White made $7,384,500 for that fight. The sources are BBC Sport and ESPN. Fury versus Chisora. Again, the pay-per-views were unreleased, so we don't know the pay-per-view buys. Frank Warren reported that it's over 500,000 pay-per-view buys. Eddie Hearn said it was more like 200 to 300,000 pay-per-view buys. Again, we don't have the official numbers on Fury's pay-per-view. The gate was unreleased. The gate did not break any records, but there were 59,000 people in attendance that night. The split was 85-15. Fury took 25 million. Derek Ward Chisora took 3.8 million. Okay, so there's that. Now, people say these UK fighters are draws and they're attractions. Derek Chisora's fight with Dillian White, his rematch. I'm taking their biggest fight, their fight that did the best numbers. Dillian White versus Derek Chisora 2, their rematch did 438,000 pay-per-view buys. And their purse was 1.5 million. Relatively the same. It was a very close split. And the source is Sky Sports. Now, we're going to go to Alexander Usyk. Alexander Usyk fought Tony Bellew. Okay? It did 603,000 pay-per-view buys when Usyk fought Tony Bellew. 603,000 pay-per-view buys in the UK. The split was 80-20 for Bellew. Bellew took 4 million. Usyk took 1 million. The source is The Independent. Usyk versus Derek Ward Chisora did 1 million pay-per-view buys, slightly over 1 million pay-per-view buys. The split was 70-30 in Derek Ward Chisora's favor. Derek Ward Chisora made 4 million. Usyk made 1.5 million. Usyk versus Anthony Joshua 1 did 1.2 million pay-per-view buys. The split was 80-20.
Whoosh!
Joshua made 20 million. Usyk made 5 million. So the rematch between Usyk versus Anthony Joshua, it did 1.2 million pay-per-view buys, but here's a caveat. There was a price increase. So the price increased for that fight. So it did 1.2 million, but it generated more money than the average fight that does 1.2 million because they increased the price to 27 around 27 pounds. So that was a price increase. The split was 50-50. The split was 50-50 for that fight. So both Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua made over $65 million for that fight. And the source is Manchester Evening News, but there are numerous other sources that report that. If you follow boxing, you know that for the rematch with Anthony Joshua, it was contractually a 50-50 fight. that was split down the middle, and Usyk made a potload of money from that fight. So I want to point this out to you, and then I'm going to go into some other numbers. The top 10 UK pay-per-view fights of all time. The top 10 UK pay-per-view fights of all time. Anthony Joshua versus Joseph Parker is number 1 at 1.8 million. Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko is number 2 at 1.6 million. Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz 2 is number 3 at 1.5 million. David Haye versus Tony Bellew is number 4 at 1.5 million. Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk 2 is number 5 at 1.2 million. It was 1.249. And Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Povetkin is number 6 at 1.247 million. Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk, the first fight, is number 7 at 1.232 million. Vladimir Klitschko versus David Haye is number 8 at 1.1 million. Floyd Mayweather versus Ricky Hatton is number 9 at 1.1 million. And Alexander Usyk versus Derek Chisora is number 10 at 1 million. So I just want to point out that in the top 10 pay-per-views of all time in the history of the UK, Alexander Usyk is featured in 3 of them. Tyson Fury's featured in none. Now, I know a lot of people are going to make the argument that, oh, well, he was featured with Anthony Joshua twice and Tony Bell. Well, his fight with Tony Bellew didn't even make it. They're going to argue he's featured with Anthony Joshua twice and with Derek Ward Chisora. But I'm going to show you some other numbers that may suggest otherwise. So now this is where I'm going to actually put it on the screen. So as you can see, this is World Boxing News. They put together UK pay-per-view sales from 1966 to 2022, right? And this was in anticipation of the rematch between Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua. So they didn't include the number, but I included it for you in my breakdown. So what I'm going to do is you see they go through the decades, right? So what I'm going to do is I'll start here, right? In 2015, you see Anthony Joshua is on the list. He did 420,000 pay-per-view buys. And then you can see that same November before then, Vladimir Klitschko, Tyson Fury did 545,000 pay-per-view buys. Anthony Joshua versus Dillian White did 420,000 pay-per-view buys. So Tyson Fury versus Vladimir Klitschko didn't do nowhere near the numbers that Anthony Joshua did, but we'll keep going. Here's Anthony Joshua here versus Charles Martin, 500,000 pay-per-view buys. Anthony Joshua versus Dominique Brazil, 512,000 pay-per-view buys. Anthony Joshua versus Eric Molina, that did 450,000 pay-per-view buys. And you see this is a huge one. This is on the top 10. David Haye versus Tony Bellew, 1.5, damn near 1.6. And here goes Anthony Joshua with Vladimir Klitschko. As you can see, it is 1.6 million. All right, and we'll keep going. Joshua with Carlos Takam, 800,000. His fight with Joseph Parker's number 1. Anthony Joshua, Joseph Parker. But let's talk about these other guys now, because there's this argument that these UK fighters, they're so big, and that's why Usyk is putting up his numbers, right? Dillian White versus Joseph Parker, it did 474,000, right? That's not great. It's certainly not what Usyk did with Tony Bellew, and I get it. Tony Bellew was a big name, so people want to discredit it, right? But Derek Chisora fought Dillian White. And they did 438,000. Dillian White, who people say is an attraction in the UK, him and Tyson Fury, they did Wembley Stadium together. He did 286,000 pay-per-view buys in this fight against Oscar Rivas. right? Anthony Joshua again puts up a monster number. Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. 2. Now, I told you already. I told you what they did. They did 300,000. The numbers out there, that's from ESPN. ESPN reported that. ESPN reported that it did 600,000 pay-per-view buys in the United States of America, and it did 300,000 in the UK. So this is Tyson Fury, the big-time pay-per-view star. Deontay Wilder in the US doubled what he sold in the UK. I know now the Tyson Fury fans will argue, oh, but what about Fury's fans in the US? What about Usyk's fans in the UK? Y'all never consider that. So Dillian White versus Alexander Povetkin, which is unconfirmed, but as you can see, underwhelming numbers. At best, 222,000 pay-per-view buys, right? Usyk fights Derek Ward Chisora, and it does 1 million. Right? Now, let's see what Derek Ward Chisora does when he's not fighting Usyk. All right. Here's Derek Ward Chisora versus Joseph Parker. These are guys who did decent numbers when they fought AJ. Well, when Joseph Parker fought AJ, he did decent numbers. Derek Ward Chisora versus Joseph Parker did 145,000. And that's May 1st, 2021. He couldn't even break 200,000 pay-per-view buys. But in October, on Halloween of 2020, he just did 1 million pay-per-view buys. But you would argue with me that was all Chisora, right? So what? A precipitous drop-off, right? Look at this. 1 million. He went from 1 million to 145,000 in less than a year. Where'd all the fans go? He's the reason. Derek Ward Chisora was the reason for 1 million. Where the fans go? Okay, so let's look at Usyk's next fight, which just happens to be Anthony Joshua. Oh, wow. That's 1.2. Okay, everyone's going to say it was AJ. I get it. AJ's been putting up great numbers. But if you notice, it wasn't 1.2 when he fought Kubrat Pulev. It was 900,000 when he fought Kubrat Pulev. Prior to fighting Kubrat Pulev, when he fought Andy Ruiz, he did good numbers. But when he fought Andy Ruiz Jr. the first time, he did 400,000. The only reason why was because it was the biggest upset. Everything, people came back. Prior to that, when Joshua fought,
now hold on. Remember, AJ versus Ruiz, that was in the US, so that's US time. So that's why the numbers are so low.
That's a good point. It's still 400,000. Like when all said in the rematch, he did good numbers. But it's cool. I'm still saying I would just like to know why Derek Chisora couldn't sell over 200,000 when a few months before he was able to sell 1 million and he has all these fans. That's what I want to know. Oh, here goes the rematch. That's right. They didn't release the numbers for this is Wilder Fury 3. So Wilder Fury 3, 300,000 at the box office. So Tyson Fury somehow is labeled this massive commercial draw when the numbers don't support that. And this isn't me making it up. You can go look this up for yourself. Now we get to the top 10 fights in UK history. And as I report, as you know, Conor McGregor is no longer on the list. It got bumped off after Anthony Joshua's rematch with Alexander Usyk, which did 1.249, which ended up being number 5. So you got Usyk involved in 3 of UK's biggest fights of all time, and Fury's involved in none. And the way they discredit Usyk is they say that, oh, it's his opponents that are bringing the people in. But after selling 1 million against Chisora couldn't even sell 200,000 in a fight with Joseph Parker. And Joseph Parker is one of the biggest names in boxing. So I say all that to say,
nah, he was. Let's just be right. At that time, Joseph Parker was feeling like he was phasing. He was kind of like his name was. How
many heavyweights have a better name, a bigger name than Joseph Parker? There aren't many. He's one of the top names. So it wasn't like Derek Chisora was fighting some bum. He was fighting one of the top 10 guys at the time with one of the top 10 names. And he still couldn't break 200,000. So this notion that these UK fighters are carrying Usyk are overblown. What I can tell you is I heard the argument that Usyk does good numbers in the UK because of who he's fighting. But when I look at the UK fighters fighting other people, they don't do good numbers. The common denominator is Usyk. So what's really happening here is when fighters fight Usyk, they do good numbers. That's what it shows. Usyk is really a man with no home. And that's what it is. No one's going to go fight in the Ukraine. No one's going to be able to pay the money in the Ukraine. So he has to be the road warrior. He has to accept a 70-30% split to fight Derek Ward Chisora. Although he's way better than Derek Chisora, he was way more accomplished. He was the A side taking the 70-30 against Derek Chisora. Gave Derek Chisora a good payday and gave Derek Chisora the best pay-per-view numbers he's ever seen because he couldn't duplicate those numbers with Tyson Fury. Although Tyson Fury supposedly a bigger commercial draw, he didn't do those numbers that Usyk did. People give the credit to Chisora. I just showed you Chisora is not the draw you think he is. Just showed you against Dillian White, he did 438,000. Against Joseph Parker, he couldn't even break 200,000. How can you give credit for 1 million buys to that guy? Seriously. People have been undervaluing Usyk for the longest time, and they can get away with it because, once again, he can't host a fight in the Ukraine. Fury knows that he has 4 belts. What comes along with 4 belts? Mandatories. So Usyk can't pick his next opponent. Fury has the luxury of picking his next opponent because the WBC let him run free and do whatever he wants. So that's the reality of it. WBC won't say, yo, you are mandatory to fight this guy. They won't do it to him. And even if they did, they're going to give him another 80-20 split anyway. So he's good with that. He's just like, okay, so knowing this, he's going to hold Usyk's feet to the fire because you're the only one who really got responsibilities. You can't pick your own fights. So if you want to keep that belt, you're going to be forced to fight Daniel Dubois. And even then, I guarantee you, his fight with Daniel Dubois would do better numbers than Tyson Fury's fight with Derek Ward Chisora. The numbers support it. But guess what? Even when Usyk does better numbers, you're still going to say it was because of Daniel Dubois. The dude who was in a fixed fight, right? Usyk goes and he beats Daniel Dubois. Y'all are still going to say, oh, it's because Daniel Dubois was a young upcoming, blah, blah, blah. You've been doing it since Tony Bellew. All I know is Usyk puts up numbers. Every time these UK fighters fight Usyk, they put up numbers they can't duplicate when they're fighting somebody else. What's the logical reasoning for that? When Usyk's the common denominator. Stop capping. If you wanna put your pom-poms out, pull your pom-poms out and cheerlead. But don't make it seem like Usyk isn't a draw. Don't make it seem like Usyk is some bum who nobody knows because 3 of the top 10 fights in the pay-per-view history of the UK involve that man. More people have seen Usyk fight than Tyson Fury. The numbers show it. Stop playing with me. Y'all can do this. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. I see the numbers. Fury can't even release his numbers. So what you have is a situation where one guy understands that if I don't get this fight now, I'm going to have to take a fight that I'm not interested in. Because for some reason, my sanctioning bodies want to hold me accountable. His sanctioning the body, we be crooks. They don't care. Just pay them their sanctioning fees, slide them whatever under the table. Tyson Fury can keep doing whatever he wants. We're talking about the same sanctioning body that said Conor Benn tested positive for a female fertility drug because he ate omelets. Come on, man. Stop playing with me. Y'all can say whatever y'all want. Like I said, the numbers, the facts, whatever, that's what matters. Y'all act like Chisora's a draw. He's not. You act like Dillian White's a draw. He's not. You act like Usyk is just some guy who's lucky to ride the UK fighters' coattails. He's not. When they fight him, they do good numbers. When they fight him, He's the road warrior. He got to come in their backyard. That's the only reason they get those splits. So you're right. He's Mr. 30%. Because that's what it takes to get these punks in the ring with him. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. Mr. 30%. That's all I need.
Well, hey, man, that's a hearty 30, though. You know what I'm saying?
It's all good because you know what happens? Anthony Joshua got 80. Anthony Joshua got 80 and got his ass whooped too.
Oh man.
And then Usyk got that 50. So you know what? It's all good. I bet you Fury won't even want a rematch. Fury selling that belt like Charles Martin did. Charles Martin got the lion's share against Anthony Joshua, although it was in the UK. Although he didn't deserve it, he was selling the belt. More and more, Fury's acting like Charles Martin. He's just about to sell that belt. And I like Tyson Fury. I can already hear it coming. I never picked against Tyson Fury, ever. Since he became a pro, I always picked Tyson. Go run the tape. I picked him to beat Wilder 3 times. I even called around. He was going to knock out Dillian. I knew he was going to beat Chisora. He already did it 2 times before. So I didn't see any reason why he wouldn't do it again. I've never picked against Tyson Fury. But I got to be real. This argument that he's some commercial draw is fabricated, not supported by numbers, not supported by evidence. Every time you look at Usyk, he puts up good numbers. Every time you look at Usyk, he delivers, and you discredit him and give it to the other fighter. But then when the other fighter has the opportunity to prove their draw by fighting someone else who isn't Usyk, they flop. So what's the logical reason? Usyk got fans in the UK. That's what it is. And y'all don't give him credit for it.
Yo, is it really Usyk got fans, or is it people recognize Usyk's skill set and Usyk could possibly beat their favorite fighter? So people will tune into that because they see that this is a good matchup. You know, because again, styles make fights. People want to pay to see good matchups. It may not necessarily be like, yo, I'm rocking with Usyk, but they're like, yo, this dude's a monster, yo. Let me see what he could do against my mans. You know, so that's why people are willing to see a Usyk versus Chisora, but not necessarily a Chisora versus a Joseph Parker, because it's like nobody cares about these guys. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's one of those situations. You know,
describe Floyd Mayweather. You literally just described Floyd Mayweather.
Hey, but Floyd's
more people watched and paid for Floyd Mayweather's fights to see him lose.
But with Floyd,
he kept winning, so everybody kept paying, hoping. That's Usyk. They hope Tony Bellew can beat him. Whoop Bellew's ass. Oh, he whooped Bellew's ass. Oh, they hope Derek Chisora can beat him. Whoop Derek Chisora's ass. Oh, well, we hope Anthony Joshua can beat him. Whoop Joshua's ass twice. Now they going for Fury. That's what you're witnessing. It's exactly. You're right. He's like Floyd Mayweather.
However, Floyd's not foolish enough to accept 30%. That's the difference. Floyd's not willing.
Floyd has a country. Floyd has a country behind him. Floyd had sanctioning bodies.
This dude got Ukraine.
Ukraine? What fights are going to be hosted in the Ukraine? How many fights have been hosted in Ukraine that generated money? I wish the United States would adopt Usyk so that way he can have a place where and then we'll see what happens. They couldn't even pull this with Wilder. And you know it. They couldn't even pull it with Wilder because why? Because he's from the USA. They can do this to Usyk because he's not. If he was from Mexico, they couldn't do it to him. If he was from a country that fighters can go and they can thrive, he has to come to the UK to make money.
Yeah, so hence he's worth 30%. Like I've been saying from jump.
Is he worth 30%? No, he's worth way more than 30%. He accepts 30% because that's what it takes for him to get the fight.
Yo,
that's the whole point.
You're worth what you can negotiate, and if he can't negotiate, it seems like you read his whole history, and it seems like he scales from 20 to 30% in all his fights, with the exception of the AJ rematch, which was 50-50, only because it was a rematch clause, right? Like he understands his worth, and there's no disrespect. I was like, remember when we first talked about it, like it's 50-50 fair? I was like, no, it's not fair, because why would Tyson Fury agree to 50%? Like, I don't see none of these top guys agreeing to 50% with Usyk. I don't care how many belts Usyk got. Because of all the factors that you brought up, I'm like, yo, bro, like, I'm bringing in most of the fans because you're fighting in my backyard. You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, you got all the belts.
That's not true. I just showed you it's not true.
What you mean?
And Tyson Fury has never broke 1 million pay-per-view buys in the UK. So how is he bringing in more
How
fans?
many fights did Tyson have in the UK?
Tyson Fury
one?
fought.
Like, recently.
He just fought Dillian White in the UK. He just fought Derek Chisora in the UK.
Don't count those two.
And he fought.
They don't count. Dillian.
It counts.
Chisora
Why
broke
wouldn't it
the
count? Why
Because
wouldn't
they
it count?
broke
When
the
Usyk fought, it counted. Why wouldn't it count?
Yo, listen, the reason why it counted for Usyk is because everyone was like, yo, Usyk, I don't see Usyk getting past Chisora. Like, remember, Chisora's a gatekeeper. So people wanted to see, like, is this dude Usyk really that dude? That was the selling point of that fight.
So why did he sell more than Chisora? He always sells more than Chisora. He sold more than Chisora before. He sold more than Chisora after.
I'm no disrespect to Chisora. You're talking about a gatekeeper, right? So
you're the one who's arguing that 1 million people tuned in to see Derek Chisora.
TB, yo, hold on.
What it do, everybody?
Yo, listen. Yo, G-Son, answer this question.
Watch your mouth.
Yeah. Answer this question, yo. You think 70-30 split makes sense?
No.
All right, I'm about to kick you off again.
Don't make sense. And Usyk, shout out to Usyk for doing this, man. Yo, you want to fight Usyk?
Yeah, heard him.
Wait, no, Ned. Before you go in, Ned, before you go in, I just want to fill you in on some things you probably don't know.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. The top 10 pay-per-views in the history of the UK, the top 10 most successful pay-per-view fights in the history of the UK feature this fighter: Tyson Fury or Alexander Usyk?
Usyk.
Has Fury ever sold over 1 million pay-per-view buys in the UK?
To my knowledge, no.
Has Alexander Usyk?
No, these are loaded questions.
He's closer than Tyson.
How are they loaded? Let me answer it. 3 times he did. Usyk sold over 3 million pay-per-view buys in the UK 3 times. Tyson Fury's never done it once. He fought Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, the American heavyweight, reigning for 5 years, the hardest puncher in knockout history. Usyk could fight Deontay Wilder tomorrow and sell more than he did in his entire trilogy. That's the issue that you missing, G. If Usyk didn't have 4 belts, and 4 mandatories that interrupt his ability to move freely, he could fight Deontay Wilder in April in Vegas, break the gate record, and make more money than Tyson Fury made.
And get his neck snapped. Yeah.
Okay, but my point is Fury isn't the bigger draw. Fury's just in a position where he's never held accountable. And Usyk is the one who's held accountable. Usyk versus Deontay Wilder right now, you can quote me on this. Not only does it sell more than all of the trilogy fights combined did in the UK, it breaks records. I think it would break the gate record that was set by Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. I think Usyk Wilder breaks the gate record. In Las Vegas, Nevada, Usyk comes in there with them 4 belts against Deontay Wilder, who just knocked out Robert Helenius in 3 punches. Damn it. Just knocked out Robert Helenius in 3 punches. I guarantee you that fight would sell more in the UK than the trilogies with Fury combined.
Yeah, but nobody's going to argue that because, again.
Okay, so here's my point. It's not that Usyk isn't a draw, and it's not that Usyk can't make money. It's that everyone knows that he has to fight Daniel Dubois if he wants to keep his belt next. So the argument isn't that Usyk isn't a commercial draw. That's what people are going wrong, and that's my point. Usyk got fans. Usyk proved he's a draw. Usyk has fought in front of more people than Tyson Fury. That's already noted. He's fought in front of more people. He sold more pay-per-views in the UK than Tyson Fury. So stop it with it.
Hold on.
At the end of the
are
day,
you making an argument that Usyk should have the lion's share?
That I'm saying it should be 50-50. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it should be 50-50 based on the fact that everything I'm about to say is a fact, not an opinion. Check this out. Usyk, Olympic gold medalist. Usyk, former undisputed at cruiserweight. Usyk, current, reigning, defending, unified heavyweight champion of the world. Usyk sold 603,000 pay-per-view buys against Tony Bellew. Usyk sold 1 million pay-per-view buys against Derek Ward Chisora. Usyk sold 1.2 million against Anthony Joshua. Usyk sold 1.2 million in a rematch against Anthony Joshua. Usyk made $65 million in the rematch with Anthony Joshua, going 50-50. The man who is clearly a part of like 5 of the top 5 fights in the UK. He got 50-50 with that guy. He got 50-50 with the Golden Goose. Now, somehow people want to make the argument he's only worth 30 against a man who never sold 1 million in his own country. Kick rocks. Kick rocks.
Have faith. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean
G,
yo, listen,
you ain't
half
being
the list,
objective like
half
I,
the list
G,
was
you're
true.
not being
The other half
objective.
don't count. You know what I'm saying? Come on, son. Like
G,
I
you're
don't
not being
nobody cares
objective
about what he
about
did
this
to you.
fight.
I'm
I
telling
see.
you, listen, y'all don't want to
see-
be honest. Y'all don't want to be honest. I'm gonna be honest, right? Now, y'all could be like the views and opinions of G, whatever. These are the things that y'all not factoring in. Unfortunately, Tyson Fury is the great white hope of this era. That comes with a lot of perks. Usyk, unfortunately, does not speak English, so he can't inherit that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why Tyson Fury can be like, yo, bro, I need me my 70 if you want to fight me. And Usyk understands, damn, I gotta do it. You know, so it's like it just is what it is. All of those accolades is cute, but I still don't agree with 50-50. If anything, I'll be like the most I'll go is 60-40. And I think Eddie Hearn understands that. I think all the other anybody else that's affiliated somehow with Usyk understands that. Mr. 30 has to understand that's what his value is. He put that value on this. He capped himself. All of those fights, you ranging from 20 to 30%, and then when you come to Fury, you want 50-50. Get out of here. It don't work like that,
But
bro.
it's not, you can't do that, G, because your portfolio matters as well. When he first came to the UK and he took what he took against Tony Bellew, which was 80-20, I believe. Actually, I could pull up. If he takes 80-20 against Tony Bellew, it's his first fight in the UK. He's building his fan base. But once he gets 603,000 people see him beat Tony Bellew, that boosts his fan base. That boosts his exposure, right? So after he does that, yeah, he took 80-20 against Tony Bellew. So then he fights Derek Ward Chisora. His first major test at heavyweight, 70-30 in favor of Chisora. So Chisora gets 70, he takes 30, but then he beats Derek Chisora in front of 1 million people, which I have already, and I don't care what you say, it's objectively proven. Okay, in October of 2020, Derek Ward Chisora fought Alexander Usyk, and they did 1 million pay-per-view buys.
Okay.
In May of 2021, Derek Ward Chisora fought Joseph Parker, the former heavyweight champion of the world, and they couldn't even break 200,000 pay-per-view buys. So for anyone to sit there and say that the reason they did 1 million pay-per-view buys was because of Derek Ward Chisora is blasphemous. It's almost laughable. But I'm sure a lot of haters and people would try to make that argument.
Maybe because he sold 1 million, not because of Chisora or Usyk, but it was really because low-key Anthony Joshua. Because again, remember, walk with me on this. Usyk, the whole test was if Usyk gets past Chisora, then it's going to be Usyk versus AJ. So technically, it was really Eddie Hearn that was bigging up Usyk's name. Usyk does, I'm being honest, it sucks when these guys, and I'm not trying to sound
okay. So all right, let me ask you a question, G. Like seriously. So Tony Bellew, who had one of the top 10 fights in the history of the UK, 1.5 million against David Haye, fights Usyk in front of 600,000 people, and Usyk beats him, stops him. You're telling me Usyk gains no fans?
That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
So why is it unreasonable to think that people tuned in to see Usyk, the former undisputed cruiserweight champion, moving up to heavyweight, take on the well-known gatekeeper who's given a lot of good fighters a tough task to see if Usyk can beat Derek Ward Chisora and 1 million people tuned in? Why is that so hard to believe?
No. I could accept that. But we were all there. The narrative it wasn't just that. It was the factor of this is his test to see if he can handle an Anthony Joshua. Remember, because he was going to be the mandatory for Anthony Joshua fight.
Well,
so
actually,
that's what propelled that fight.
Actually, that wasn't the narrative. I remember the narrative was he agreed to step aside to allow Tyson Fury to fight Anthony Joshua in Saudi Arabia, and Eddie Hearn went out there and he got the deal and everything, and that fight was supposed to happen, but then arbitration with Deontay Wilder happened. Deontay Wilder won arbitration, and Fury was like, okay, easily just gave up on that fight and said, I'll fight Deontay Wilder the third time. So at the time, we were looking at Usyk talking about, yeah, this is a good fight for him to get acclimated to the heavyweight division, blah, blah, blah. But we weren't talking about him immediately going in to fight Anthony Joshua.
No, but what I'm saying is the whole buildup of Usyk was literally around the AJ story. You know what I'm saying? So it's like to me, and it's almost the same thing like with Wilder. If Wilder goes up against AJ, right? Wilder cannot say he's the A side. It's just not happening. You know what I mean? It's like AJ needs a dance partner to make the huge numbers, right? There's certain people that's just like, yo, if AJ fights this guy, 1 million is guaranteed. You know, like even Pulev, it was like what 900-something thousand. Yeah, who the hell's Pulev? You get what I'm saying? So he's
formidable.
Man, please, man.
All right, so here's the thing, G, and this is where you're kind of losing me because you admit that you need a dance partner to do good numbers, right? You need a dance partner to do good numbers. So we agree on that, right, G? Mm-hmm. So when Usyk is your dance partner and you're a fighter from the UK, you do good numbers. I just proved it.
Yes.
The numbers show it. When you fight Usyk and you're from the UK, you do good numbers. So the numbers show Usyk's a good dance partner, dance partner. How good? Joshua was able to do 1.2. Joshua was able to do 1.2 with an increased pay-per-view buys. So they increased the price of the pay-per-view, and Joshua still did 1.2 fighting Usyk. That's how good of a dance partner he is. But how good of a dance partner is Tyson Fury? When he fought the most devastating, hardest puncher in boxing history, Deontay Wilder, the first fight, and they only did 400,000 pay-per-view buys. Then in the rematch, he only did 300,000 pay-per-view buys in the UK. Then in the trilogy, he did 300,000 pay-per-view buys again. So how good of a dance partner?
Objection. Because again, we're talking about in the US. So that's in US time. So there's gonna be less pay-per-view buys in the UK just out of the time frame alone. So it's like numbers gonna
So let me ask you a question, right?
Go ahead.
So you're arguing that's in US time. Mm-hmm. I saw Floyd Mayweather versus Ricky Hatton. on the top 10 UK pay-per-views of all time at 1.1 million. That was on US time. So you mean to tell me those people in the UK stayed up to saying there's only one Ricky Hatton? But for Fury Fatten, they can't stay up?
Hey, man.
Come on, man. Let's stop it, man. All y'all do is make excuses for Tyson Fury.
It's not even excuses.
This is what it is. All y'all do is make excuses for Tyson Fury and try to discredit Usyk. Women lie, men lie, numbers don't. The numbers are objective.
Hold on. Objection again. Nobody's discrediting Usyk. Everybody acknowledges he's a formidable opponent and that, the reality is the dude is worth 30%.
He's not.
No,
he's not. Stop saying that.
So Creator himself went through his entire resume and never once did this dude surpass 30% with the exception of the AJ rematch.
Okay, exactly. So at that point, why should he go backwards? You yourself, G, hold on. G, this is why I'm saying. Do you hear your arguments? You just acknowledge that Deontay Wilder wouldn't be worth 50-50 against Anthony Joshua. Yep. And it sounds like you agree that Tyson Fury won't be worth 50-50 with Anthony Joshua. Okay, now Anthony Joshua fought Usyk for 50-50. Why? Because Usyk earned it. He beat him, got 50-50 with the cash cow. So now he beat the cash cow in front of 1.2 million people 2 times. He did that. So now that would make him the man. And you're arguing that you need a good dance partner in order to do good numbers. Usyk as a dance partner has sold over 1 million pay-per-view buys 3 times. Fury as a dance partner has never sold over 1 million pay-per-view buys. What makes Fury the better dance partner? Your opinion. That's it. That's it. The numbers don't support it. The numbers don't support that Fury is the better dance partner, the bigger commercial draw. They fought the same fighters. And when they fought the same fighters, Usyk did better numbers.
All right, so walk with me on this then. I hear what you're saying. So then why is it, right, that when Eddie Hearn was negotiating the Fury versus AJ fight, right, in Saudi Arabia was going to pay both gentlemen $100 million. But when they try to do that fight in Saudi Arabia or one of the Middle Eastern countries with Fury versus Usyk, they were like, nah, yo, we not paying this dude that much money.
Who, Fury?
Yeah, Fury. He actually
for the same reason. It's easy answer. It's easy answer. You ready?
Go ahead.
For the same reason that Fury versus Vladimir Klitschko only sold 545,000, and Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko did 1.6. Damn near triple. Because AJ's more entertaining.
That's my point.
AJ brings in the money.
Point. Yo,
but Fury can't operate under the assumption that he's AJ. He's no AJ. I just said to you, Fury has never. Hold on.
You gotta give him that.
Hold on. No, I don't. I gotta give him what?
That he's more entertaining than Usyk.
Who?
Fury.
No, he's not.
Oh my god.
All I know, G. I'm just saying. All I know.
Oh, come on, son. Now y'all capping, yo.
All right, hold on, G. See, this is what I'm saying to you. Cause I remember, and I don't want to go there, Ned, you my witness. You arguing that Wilder deserved 50-50 with AJ at one point. Now, we kept telling you the same arguments.
And so what?
Wilder.
So what?
So it's just amazing how you changed now. All right, so Ned, do me a favor, bro. I'm only going to ask you objective questions, and I'm not loading nothing. See, people try to make it seem. When I ask you an objective question, it's a yes or no answer. That's a fact. If I'm saying anything that's an opinion, let me know. Anthony Joshua has the top selling fight of all time in the UK, correct?
Yes.
He has the second top selling fight, correct?
Yes.
Third?
Yep.
The fourth top selling fight involves Tony Bellew, correct?
Yep.
Tony Bellew won that fight, correct?
Yep.
All right, Anthony Joshua has the fifth top selling fight, right?
Yes, he does.
The sixth?
Yep.
He really has the seventh too, by the way, because the fifth now is the rematch with Usyk. Okay, now the seventh top selling fight is Vladimir Klitschko versus David Haye, correct?
Mm-hmm.
The 10th top selling fight really now is Usyk versus Derek Chisora, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Now watch how I tie all this in together. Anthony Joshua has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, he has 6. He has 6 of the top pay-per-view selling fights, right? Anthony Joshua. Usyk beat that guy. Usyk beat the guy who sold all these top pay-per-views. Anthony Joshua, the money man. Usyk beat him. Not only did Usyk beat him, Usyk beat the man who had the number 4 fight still in the history of the UK. So Usyk beat the 2 top-selling pay-per-view attractions in the UK.
Objection.
Not Tyson Fury. Go ahead. What are you objecting to? I didn't even make my point yet.
I know I'm just being foolish, but I have something to say. I have to say this. The only way I could justify your argument is if Usyk fights another person, right, that isn't a star, and he still generates good numbers.
He did. Derek Chisora is not a star.
No, man, come on.
Okay, yo, Ned, Ned, hold on. Ned. This is classic G trying to throw me off my points, but let me get you back to some. The number 1 pay-per-view attraction is undoubtedly Anthony Joshua, correct?
Yes, it is.
Usyk beat him, correct?
Yep.
Number 2 is Tony Bellew, right?
Yep.
Usyk beat him, correct?
Yep.
On that list, in the spot that would be directly under Tony Bellew and Anthony Joshua is Vladimir Klitschko, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Joshua beat Vladimir Klitschko, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, my last question. Do you see Tyson Fury anywhere on this list?
No, I do not.
Okay. So, you're arguing that Derek Ward Chisora, G, is a pay-per-view attraction. I'm just going to look at I'm just looking strictly for Derek Ward Chisora fights.
Oh, I didn't make that argument.
Oh, no. You said you want to see him fight someone who's not a superstar. That's what you said. You said you want to see Anthony Joshua. You want to see Usyk fight someone who isn't already a superstar. And I'm telling you, he did, and he sold $1 million, which was Derek Chisora. You argued that no, Derek Chisora is somehow a star. So
you know why? Can I make an argument why Chisora doesn't count? The dude has so many L's, and yet for some odd reason, these UK fans keep supporting him. So he doesn't count. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about.
It's not that shouldn't factor in why he puts butts in chairs, G. He's like
okay. So here's all, that it doesn't count. That's like a girl who goes to Hawaii and sleeps with a bunch of dudes and then say it doesn't count because it was in a different state.
Listen, you know
like,
what they say?
On,
out of race, out of state, dog. Out of race, out of state.
Listen.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, bro. If it happened, it counts. So Dillian White, if Dillian White versus Derek Ward Chisora did 438,000, like, you know what I mean? It's not bad. It's not great. So we'll look for Derek Chisora again. Derek Chisora versus Usyk did 1 million. If anything, that proves he's bigger than Dillian White and Derek. Because you remember, you said it takes a dance partner. You said it takes a good dance partner to make a mega pay-per-view fight. That's your own words, G. So when Derek Chisora and Dillian White were dance partners with each other, they couldn't break 500,000, right? When Usyk was the dance partner with Derek Chisora, it broke 1 million, right? When Kubrat Pulev was Joshua's dance partner, they couldn't break 1 million. When Usyk was, he broke 1 million. All right. So when Alexander Povetkin was Dillian White's dance partner in a rematch, after he knocked Dillian, it couldn't break 200,000. Even look at their first fight.
What about AJ versus Usyk 1? What was those numbers?
Here it is right here. 1.23. 1.232 million. So when Usyk was the dance partner, AJ was able to break it. Now look at Derek Ward Chisora. When Joseph Parker was his dance partner, he couldn't even break 200,000. This is the point I'm making to you. These guys struggle to break 200,000. When Usyk's your dance partner, though, boom, 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 boom. Okay, so here goes Tyson Fury in the trilogy, the great trilogy, where his dance partner is the hardest puncher in boxing history, 300,000. Couldn't even break. So come on, fam. Like, stop capping. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying to you. You can say whatever you want, but the numbers show that Usyk brings them out. And it could be for the same reason you said about Floyd, like Floyd. They don't like Usyk. They're rooting against Usyk. Or they know he's skilled, so they just want to see if the other person can beat him. It don't matter. When Usyk's involved, people pay to see. So I already know. And I know this for a fact. If Usyk was to fight Deontay Wilder on April 29th, that fight would be booming. That fight would do over 1 million. I know that. It would do over 1 million in the UK, definitely. And in the US, it'll do something around 700,000. Let's stop playing. That fight would be huge. You know it and I know it. If Usyk was to fight,
I'm not taking anything against.
If Usyk was to fight Dillian White, hold up. If Usyk was to fight Dillian White, that fight would do better numbers than Fury's fight did with Chisora. Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
Yeah, duh. You know what I'm saying? But
okay, so my point is, how is Fury this big guy? How is Fury this great guy? This is what I'm saying. How is Fury this commercial draw? Okay, I'll do another one for you. If Usyk was to fight if he was to fight Joe Joyce, that fight would do over 1 million pay-per-view buys.
That's a fact.
But they're not going to give Joe Joyce to Usyk because they're going to give him to Fury because they both with Frank Warren. You see what I'm saying? It's not this thing that Usyk isn't a draw. That's a lie. What it is leverage.
If I ever said about he's not a draw, the difference is, Fury is like, if this is in the UK, right? Fury's gonna do good or decent numbers regardless. All Fury has to do is
300,000.
come on, bro. Stop. So, yo, you gotta stop doing that, yo. Because that fight was in the US. These are 300,000 UK buys. So that's still great.
So why did he release his numbers against why? All right, so G, what are the official numbers on Tyson Fury's fight against Dillian White?
Yo, I don't know, and it don't matter. It's
okay, so if they were good, you would know, right? It's not on the top 10 list. Usyk's last 2 fights are on the top 10 list, bro.
Yo, listen.
Fury's last 2 fights are the garbage.
I get it. Yo, I get it. You got smoke for Fury right now, but yo, come on, son. You gotta understand your dance partner is trash. You know your numbers are gonna be trash. Let's just keep it real, bro. Like,
what does that say about you?
What?
If your dance partner is trash and your number is trash, what does it say about the fight, the original, the first dancer? Come on, G, get it together. Like
and that's terrible. You know why? Because Usyk fought Chisora, did $1 million. Fury fought Chisora, and they couldn't even release the numbers. It was so bad. So come on now.
Gee, come on, you're getting so biased. I don't know what's
even biased. Yo, listen, my argument's been clear.
You know,
50-50. And then settle for 30, like he always has. So how am I being biased? If anything, I'm just going by his resume. You know what I'm saying? And his
Mr. 30.
Mr. 30, dog. His resume screams Mr. 30. That's it. I was even gonna make the argument, give him 40. My man agreed to 30, bro. Like, come on, and y'all mad at me because Usyk agreed to this foolishness. You know what I mean? He's the one selling himself short, not me. So I'm looking at it.
Mad at you.
Usyk must know he's only worth 30%.
Nah, that's how you're wording it, but that's not true. When you don't have other options, you got to do that. Usyk's other option is to defend against Daniel Dubois.
He should do it so we can see those numbers.
And I guarantee you they'll be better than Fury versus Chisora. And I guarantee you they'll get released. Unlike Fury, who doesn't release his numbers because they're so hot garbage, you understand that he can't release them. So here's what happens with Usyk. This is what happens with Usyk. I'm telling you, this is what happens with Usyk. These punks are afraid to get in the ring with him. So he has to make it worth their while. Just like Joshua had to make it worth Charles Martin's while to get in the ring with him. So Usyk has to do things like take 80-20 split against Tony Bellew. And what happened? He knocked his head off. Then he has to take a 70-30 split against Derek Ward Chisora. And what he do? Box his head off. Then he has to take an 80-20 split against Anthony Joshua. What he do? Box his head off. Then he got a 50-50, box his head off again. So now, yeah, you're right. It's following the format. He got to do it again for Tyson. Oh, Tyson.
And then remember what I told you on the text. I said, yo, if he could beat Tyson Fury, then in the rematch, he could negotiate a 50.
100%, yo. Get out of here.
That's what he did with AJ.
100%.
That's what he did with AJ.
And that's what I'm saying. I can respect that.
Well, all this is just based on the fact that he was born in the Ukraine, that he's a Ukrainian. Because if he was a Brit, they would all be going crazy right now.
That's the way the cookie crumbles, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's boxing, so everything gets factored into it. Who you are, how you speak, how you present yourself, what flag you represent, all of that has to be contributed to your star power. And unfortunately, my man don't speak English, son. You know what I'm saying? So he's always gonna be the Soviet representation that we look at as the bad guy. You know what I mean? So he plays the position well at 30%. It just is what it is, man. He's Drago. He's Drago and Rocky, son. He's Drago and Rocky. He's just the bad guy that everyone goes, yo, he's tough, but yo, we rooting for our mans. So I'm gonna beat him. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you probably is. Caden's probably right. It is the Floyd Mayweather effect. Yo, when everybody lines up, everyone's like, yo, dog, this gotta be the guy to beat Floyd because Floyd's the bad guy. That's what it is. Usyk, play your position, bro. You Mr. 30, dog. And Mr. 30 is a bad guy. It's okay. Every movie has a bad guy. He's the bad guy in Tyson Fury's saga, bro. That's all it was
until this. Now Fury's kind of looking bad.
Man, listen, that's what I'm gonna say this. Tyson Fury, I felt like he should have never made his negotiations public.
Gee,
silent. I think nobody would have really been hating on him with the 70-30 split.
Can I get in on this?
Oh yeah, let's
hit it on AJ. You know what I'm saying?
Let's let Ned get in on this.
Go ahead, Ned.
I'm telling you right now, you're standing on the wrong side of history. And when it all comes tumbling down, you're gonna have the biggest X on your back. I promise you. I promise you, you're gonna have the biggest X on your back after this fight.
What happens if Fury knocks your man's head off?
It's okay. We got a rematch. But when the fight doesn't go as you want it to go, when you think Usyk's an easy win, when you think Usyk's not that good fighter, and he's shown you he's a very talented fighter.
Yo, did we make a bet on this fight? We made a bet on this fight, right? Yo, Ned, did we bet on this fight?
Not yet.
Bet on this fight?
Not yet.
$200 right now. What's up?
$200 do it.
All right.
I got Usyk. Usyk beating your man.
I got Tyson Fury. You're foolish.
All right, cool. You see what happens with G is G's favorite fighter loses to another fighter, and then that fighter becomes his favorite fighter for some reason. I don't get it.
Why y'all keep capping? No, listen. I don't really even care about Tyson Fury like that, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? You know me. Yo, my fighters are gonna be from the US. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? But then I gotta pick between these two guys. Come on, son. I'm picking Tyson Fury.
You gotta pick. You're going all balls to the wall for Tyson Fury. You're not even being objective no more.
I am being objective, bro. I say this though. It's too small. What we talking
about? Let's take a trip down memory lane.
Yeah, I don't like this objection. Let's end this segment. I don't.
Let's go down memory lane real quick. I'm gonna keep it strictly to Tyson Fury. When and Usyk, when we picked Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury, the first fight, you picked Wilder. You were like, you had some quotes on it. You were just like, he's gonna take his head clean off. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember.
Guillotine style. Guillotine style.
This dude G was just like, you couldn't say nothing to him. He was just going to destroy Fury, and that was that. I tried to explain to G, Ned in my line, Fury's very skilled. I said he's the most unique, talented athlete I've seen at that size in a boxing ring. Right? I was saying all this to G. It didn't matter, right? What happened? It was a draw. Although I believe Fury won the first fight, it was a draw. I can see how Wilder can get a draw because I gave Wilder the first round, and I gave him the rounds he knocked Fury down. And on my card, he lost by 1 point. So you gave Wilder a close round. I could see it being a draw. So I wasn't mad at the draw, but I had Fury winning by 1 point. The rematch, it's all there. You can see it. I knew it was a Rizzy, but G, pillow fish, Fury, pillow fish, blah, blah, blah. What happened? Fury got Wilder in that corner, made Brillin throw in the towel. Then he had an autopsy, glove gate, spike water, all types of stuff ended up happening after that. But the trilogy came. And I'm going to be honest with you. I give Wilder all the credit in the world because I thought he was going to fold like a cheap tent in that trilogy. But he showed tremendous heart. Like, that fight made me like Wilder. So I got respect for Wilder. But he lost the trilogy. So then Tyson Fury was going to fight Dillian White. I picked Tyson Fury, 6th round, knockout. G picked Dillian. This is what people don't understand.
Whoa.
All right, hold on. Let me say this. And I'm
you picked Dillian, G.
You do that
you pick
Dillian verbatim.
Yo, this is crazy.
G verbatim.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up.
This is crazy.
G said, "Why they gonna knock that pillow fist out?" Now look at G with the pillow fist down his mouth. Like, come on, G, stop it, man, stop it.
So
stop it.
You want me to pick Usyk just for Usyk's sake?
No, I'm not saying you can't. You can pick Fury, but you're not being objective.
I am being objective. I think, listen, all the skills and attributes. I'm to be honest, all the skills and attributes that you could contribute to Usyk, you could do the very same thing to Tyson Fury.
So why isn't it even fight? Why isn't it even fight?
He's bigger and heavier. He has more power than Usyk. So come on, I have to. I'm assessing both gentlemen, and I go, I'm favoring Tyson.
Why does Fury not have pillow fist no more? I want to explain because you called him a pillow fist before. You called him pillow fist.
Okay, and I was wrong. Whatever, I was wrong.
So
see, there's a difference. Listen, I can admit when I'm wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like
you gonna make me wrong.
Like, yo, I be lying or something.
$200. I don't. We seen it live. We seen it right now. It's on. It was the receipts is right here. I want my money, G.
What's gonna happen?
I want my money.
Yeah, you know what, man? Okay? Yo, you know what's funny? I done took enough of your money for so long. I'm not even fazed by that. What I really like is when you get on this screen and be like, yo, G, you got that. That's my payment.
And
you
I'll
know
do
what I'm saying?
that.
That's my payment. I'm gonna take your money, but that's my payment. To see you on the screen looking foolish, it's cool. God bless.
When the roles is flipped, it's gonna be you, G. It's gonna be you at the end of the day, bro. It's 50-50. It's a 50-50 chance right here.
Oh, I got it up, G.
Yeah. What would I say?
I don't know. I'm gonna put it right now.
Yeah. What I say? This is blasphemy right here. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, G.
I
don't know, G. Let's see what you said. Hold on, we're gonna see. Now I see Dillian talking about he's dropped Tyson Fury. He went to a
Fury's gonna win.
Hold on.
My heavyweight predictions in the past. So it's cool. I've embraced the jinx, the G jinx that y'all been saying. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna predict Tyson Fury's gonna win.
Oh, you flipped it. You tried to jinx Tyson. That's what it was.
I broke the curse, baby. I broke the curse. Hey,
see,
only right.
You try to jinx Tyson.
It's only right.
That's what. Right. But you picked Dillian. You were going for Dillian, G. Stop capping,
right? I told y'all. Yo, listen, G for 2023. You know what I'm saying?
Anyways, let me get back to it though. You picked Tyson Fury, but you try to curse my man Tyson Fury.
Yeah, he be all right. You know
and so you picked him to beat Chisora. I give you that. You picked him to beat Chisora. But Usyk, you picked Chisora to beat Usyk. Then you pick Joshua to beat Usyk. And then you pick Usyk to beat Joshua in the rematch. Mm-hmm. But these are guys who you never really had love for. Now all of a sudden, you president of the Fury.
Nah, don't do that stuff. I don't give a damn about Tyson Fury either. I'm just saying I'm not sold on Usyk the way y'all are sold.
Lies.
How is this a lie? I honestly believe that. I'm gonna be honest. I still think Wilder will knock out Usyk. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I just couldn't believe what he did to AJ. Still to this day, when I think back on it, I'm just like, AJ, what happened? I don't think Usyk beat a prime AJ. I think he beat a battered AJ. And AJ is just, for some odd reason, he just doesn't realize how big he is. You know what I mean? Like, if AJ was the same AJ, the same mentality of like the Klitschko AJ, come on, so he'll run through Usyk. But now this new AJ thinking that, he can just jab somebody to death. I don't know, man. Listen, it's no disrespect to Usyk, but Tyson Fury has all those attributes that y'all give Usyk that credit. All high IQ, angles, this, that, Tyson does all of that also. You know what I'm saying? And he's bigger. He punches harder. So it's like, to me, it's like, even if Usyk could do all of that movement, Tyson Fury's just gonna put his weight on him. He's gonna have 280 pounds on his back. He's gonna be fatigued. He's gonna be tired. Like, come on, son. What are we talking about here, man? If Usyk beats Tyson Fury, I'm telling y'all, I'm gonna give this dude the utmost respect. I promise y'all that. I just don't see it. You know what I mean? And I'm not gassing this dude because he beat a broken AJ. It sounds cute, man. You know what I'm saying? But Tyson Fury ain't AJ, and that's a fact.
All right, look, so I agree with you on Tyson Fury. I've been saying it for the longest time. I think inside the ring, he's a rare, exceptional talent. But what he did, for me, I just can't rock with it, man. From blowing the Saudi Arabia deal to, to me, it's not in line with what he says. He says he's the spotter. He says he will fight for free. He says he would do all this stuff. And I like Fury. I'm a Fury guy. But after this, it just make me really like Usyk. But I feel what you're saying, G, like, because we got to wrap it up. I'm going to let Nate get back in here. I get what you're saying. Like, if you look at some guys' history, and they have a history of taking 70-30, 80-20, 70-30, you're going to be like, hey, dog, start where this guy always goes. So, like, I hear you on that. All I'm saying is he's in a different position than he was back then, kind of, you know what I mean, in terms of what he's accomplished, in terms of what he's done and his status. So I think that elevates him and that changes what he's worth. And I think he deserves 50-50. we can part ways on it. I get what you're saying. Negotiation is negotiation at the end of the day, and you're right. You're supposed to start with the low offer and work your way through it. So I know that's like wrapping up all seriousness. I get where you're coming from.
Hold on. So let me just be with all seriousness. I'll say this. Like I said via text, if he knew English, I would have said 35%. You know what I'm saying? My man don't speak English, bro. It's like, come on, son. You know you're gonna get played in the UK or in the US if you don't speak.
You gotta learn English to up the percentages.
Even Canelo speaks English, son. Canelo speaks English, and he probably has the biggest marketing boxing market in the world, Mexico. And he still learned his ass some English. So that's all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. I think personally, though, I think he deserved 50-50, but I get going for starting at 70-30. But Ned TBE, man, you got the closing statements.
Man, G, I don't get why you so punch drunk over Fury, man. It's crazy. But this is gonna be a great fight. Fury, this is also showing you he's not scared of anything Fury's gonna throw at him. He's coming prepared. And never doubt the underdog. I don't know why G can't see how Usyk could win this fight. G just sees Fury's gonna body this man for some reason. But when it was Wilder Fury, G didn't care about Fury's attributes then. G didn't care about it then. But next,
that's right. That's right.
I'm just saying, if Usyk wins, G, you cannot jump on this train. You cannot pick this man
I
at all.
wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to.
You cannot.
I'm not going to.
You cannot jump on this train at all. Ukraine, you're banned from there. You're banned from there. You
hold on. But so, are you the president of the Usyk?
I'm the ambassador. I'm the American ambassador for the Ukraine, and you cannot.
Hold on.
You cannot step foot in there.
He went from riding AJ to now riding Usyk, but he's
I'm not riding Usyk, but I'm being objective.
Yeah,
they're both talented fighters. They're both talented fighters. But you cannot go. You step
two biceps in your mouth. You can't.
You step foot. You step foot in Ukraine. They're keeping you. And you gonna need all you gonna have is your fans on this side. Free G. Then you gonna get the Jimmy Grinding treatment. You feel me? You gonna be looking at life in Ukraine. All right, if you step foot in Ukraine, you never coming home, G.
Wow.
We locking you up. We locking you up.
Wow,
all right?
That's crazy.
That's it. That's it, G. Because you've been going. You took a laxative. You've been just dropping it on Ukraine, yo. You like it's crazy. I don't know.
I ain't got beef with Ukraine.
You got beef now. You got beef now.
Hey, man, you talking like the Philippines wasn't ready to stomp you out.
Hey, man, listen, let me keep 100 with y'all. Listen. I got love for the Ukraine. God bless them. I hope they become victorious over Russia. But y'all take y'all asses over here and go up against the US. I hope Haney violates you guys. You know what I mean? Only reason why I'm rooting for Fury, I don't really care. But it's like, yo, bro, he just bigger than him, man. So pause. I'm not co-signing this. I'm not.
This is a big guy versus a little guy thing for you.
This is what it is. It's just, good little guy versus a good big guy. I'm going with the good big guy, bro. That's it. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to Usyk. No disrespect to Ned and Ned's new appointment as the president of the Usyk Club. You know what I mean? It's just, I just got to pick what I got to pick. I'm doing what Ned says. Yo, it's the eye test. You know what I mean? I'm just doing a good old-fashioned, old-school Ned eye test. That's all it is. Yeah, Ned can't.
All right, so you already here. G says you're worth what you agreed to, and he calls Usyk now. What's his name? G
30.
Mr. 30%. I think that Usyk is a good dance partner. I think he's proven it. I think he deserved 50-50. I respect him for taking the 70. I think it's more of he'd rather fight Fury than fight Daniel Dubois. So I respect it. Ned TBE, his opinion is what?
It is what it is at this point. Usyk, you showing I respect Usyk for taking this, but I don't respect the split at all. That's all.
All right. So thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Remember, you can comment in the comment section, and we have the podcast out on all major streaming services. We are the Boxing Bros.
Yo, Ned, man.
Gee, you're not welcoming Ukraine at all, bro. After this,
bro, listen, I promise you this. Listen, yo, Ned, just give me my apology and cash at me on the episode. That's what I want to get my money. Not at the knockout, but the next morning during the show, so I could show the screen of you sending me my money. You know what I'm saying? Should be ashamed of yourself.